Welcome, I'm Denman, and this is I had trouble getting into SollA Sollew. I was really happy and carefree and young. I lived in a place called the Valley of Vung, and not anything ever went wrong until, well, one day I was walking along, and I guess I got careless, and I guess I got gawking at daisies and not looking where I was walking. See, that's a daisy, supposedly. And that's how it started. Sock, what a shock. I stubbed my big toe on a very hard rock and flew through the air and went for a sail. And I sprained the main bone in the tip of my tail. See, he done sprained it. And there's the rock. Now, I never had ever had troubles before, so I said to myself, I don't want any more. If I watch out for rocks and keep my eyes straight ahead, I'll keep out of trouble forever, I said. So he's looking straight forward like a good old man. But watching ahead, well, it didn't work. I was watching these rocks, and I felt a hard jerk. A very fresh, green-headed Quilligan quail sneaked up from the back and went after my tail. See, he's biting his tail. And I leaned there, and I learned there are troubles of more than one kind. Some come from ahead, and some come from behind. So I said to myself, now I just have to start being careful twice as much and be twice as smart. I'll watch out for trouble in the front and back sections by aiming my eyeballs in different directions. See, he looked like his eyes are all over the place. I found this to be quite a difficult stunt, but now I was safe from both the back and the front. Then new troubles came from above and below. A squirts at my neck and a shrink at my toe. And now I was really in trouble, you know. The rocks and the quail and the squirt and the shrink. I had so many troubles I just couldn't think. There I was, all completely surrounded by trouble, when a chap rumbled up in a one-wheeler rubble. A young fellow said, "What has happened to you? Has happened to me and other folks too. So I'll tell you what I've decided to do. I'm off to a city of SollA Sollew, on the banks of this beautiful river Wahoo, where they never have troubles, at least very few. It is not very far, and my camel is strong. We'll get there fast, so hop on, come along." What's up? I'm reading this book. I jumped up from behind, and then all through that day, the wobble on the wobble some way. The road got more bumpy, more rocky, more tricky. By midnight, I'll tell you, my stomach felt icky. And I said, "So, Mister, please, when do we get there to that wonderful town? Aren't we almost there yet?" The young fellow told me,
"That's my turn."
Don't start in the stew. At sunrise, we'll drive into SollA Sollew, and we'll have no troubles. I promise I do. So there's them going over the rocks. But when dawn finally arrived and the darkness got light, that wonderful city was nowhere in sight. And instead of a city, we ran into trouble. Our camel got sick, and he started to bubble. We had to pull him in the one-wheeler wobble. So there we were in a dreadful position. Our camel sure needed a camel position. I'm not reading that one right now.
that.
I'll read that one next.
I don't know one.
Hold on. Now, doctors for camels are not often seen, especially on mountains. They're far in between. But we pulled that wobble and set out to find some doctor while we dragged our camel behind. I pulled and pulled and pulled, and then the next thing I knew, I was pulling the camel and Wobble Chap too. Now, really, I thought this is rather unfair, but he said, "Don't you stew. I'm just doing my share."
I'm scared.
Oh, there's no monsters. This is called teamwork. I furnish the brains, you furnish the muscle, the ache and the pains. I pick the best road and tell you where to go, and we'll find a good doctor more quickly than you know. Then he sat and he worked his brain with his tongue, and he bossed me around just because I was young. He told me to go left, then he told me to go right, and that's what he told me to do all day and night. Next morning, we located Dr. Sam Snell, who knew all about tonsils and camels as well. Our camel, he said, had a bad case of gleeks and should lie flat in bed for at least 20 weeks. Holy moly, that's a long time for a camel to lay down. I was tired, how I wanted to crawl into that bed, but the Wobble Camp sent me away and said, "Your troubles are practically all at an end. Just run down that hill and around the next bend, and you'll come to a very happy way bus route, my friend. The happy bus leaves at 4:42 and will take you directly to SollA Sollew, on the banks of that beautiful river, Wahoo, where there never have troubles, at least very few." Well, the bus stop was there, and that part was just fine, but tacked on a stick was a very small sign saying, "Notice two passengers using our line. We are sorry to say that our driver, Butch Myers, ran over 4 nails and punctured all his tires. So, until further notice, the 432 can't possibly take you to SollA Sollew." Darn. He's just having terrible luck, isn't he? "But I wish you the most pleasant journey by fleet," signed bus line president Horace P. Sweet. So I went on by feet, thanks to Horace P. Sweet, and that Horace P. Sweet almost ruined my feet. Yeah, look how long he's got to, look at all that walking he's got to do. Goodness gracious. 100 miles later, my feet were sore. Then wouldn't you know it, it started to pour. I was drenched to my skin when a chap in a slicker splashed up and yelled, It's the midwinter jicker. The midwinter jicker came early this year, and it's not going to be very comfortable around here. Any fool would get out, so I packed up my things, and I'm off to my granddaddy's in the Palm Springs. Take cover, he yelled. Use my house if you wish. Then the chap in the slicker splashed off like a fish. I ran into the house and fell in a heap. I needed my rest, but I couldn't sleep. Did you ever sleep when your feet were like ice? With a family of owls and a family of mice. I listened all night to the growls and the yowls and the chattering teeth of those mice and those owls, while the midwinter jicker howled, horribly howled. I tossed and I flipped and I flopped and I flept. It was 5:15 and I finally slept. Then I dreamed I was sleeping on the billowy pillows of a soft silk and satin marshmallow stuffed pillow. I dreamed I was sleeping in SollA Sollew and on the banks of the beautiful river Yahoo, where they never have troubles, at least very few. And then I woke up and it just wasn't true. I was crashing downhill in a flubberous flood with the suds in my eyes and my mouth full of mud and my nose full of water and my ears full of shrieks. of the owls flying off with the mice in their beaks. And I said to myself, now I really don't see why my troubles like this always happen to me. I floated 12 days without toothpaste or soap. I practically almost had given up hope when someone up high shouted, "Here, catch the rope." Then I knew that my troubles had come to an end. I climbed to the rope saying, "Thank you, my friend." I got to the top, but it wasn't a friend, and I saw that my troubles were not at an end. A big man on a horse scared me out of my wits. He bellowed, "I'm General Genghis Khan Smits. There's a war going on, and it's time that you knew. Every lad in this land has a duty to do. We're marching into battle. We need you, my boy. We're about to attack. We're about to destroy the perilous poozer of Pompel Moose Pass. So get in line. You're a private first class." He gave me a shooter and a little bean, which was not very much if you see what I mean. Then he yelled, "Get that poozer, attack without fear, the glorious moment of victory is near." And the glorious general led me in advance with a glorious swish of his sword and his lance, and a glorious clank of his tin metal pants. See, he's got a little, like, straw as a weapon. He's so cute with his little straw. Then they went around a corner to find that, alas, there was more than one poozer in the Pompelmoose Pass. And Genghis Khan Smith shouted out to his men, "This happens in war every now and again. Sometimes you are winners and sometimes you are losers. We can never win against so many poozers. So I suggest that it's time to retreat." And the army raced off in its tin-plated feet. There I was with more poozers than I've ever seen. There I was with my shooter and only one bean. There I was, and I thought, will I ever get through to the wonderful city of SollA Sollew on the banks of the beautiful river Hot Woohoo? Well, there's never had troubles, at least very few. Oops. I didn't show that page. Or pages, I should say. There you go. I had terrible trouble in staying alive. Then I saw an old pipe that said vent number 5. I didn't have time to find out what that meant, but the vent had a hole, and the hole was where I went. Well, that vent where I went was sort of a funnel that led me down to a frightful black tunnel. The traffic down there was a mess. I must say, there's a billions of birds going all the way. Going all the wrong way. They bumped me with the bikes. They banged me into dishes. I ran into ladders, beds, bottles, and fishes. I skidded on garbage, fell on in a horn. Troubles I wish I had never been born. I was down there 3 days in that bird-filled place. At least 8,000 times I fell smack on my face. I injured 3 fingers, both thumbs, both lips, my skin bone, my backbone, my wishbone, and my hips. What more? I was starved. I needed to eat a damp. What is damp? I grew moss on my feet. Then, just when I thought I couldn't stand it no more, by chance I discovered a teeny trapdoor. I popped my head out. The great sky was blue, and I knew from the flowers I finally come through to the bank of the beautiful river Wahoo. It couldn't be far now from SollA Sollew. There it was, with the glittering towers in the air. I made it. I'm done. At last I was there. And I knew that I left all my troubles behind when a chap at the doorway that shimmered and shined waved at me, friendly and kind. Oops. Welcome, he said. He gave me his hand. Welcome, my son, to this beautiful land. Welcome to the sweet, sunny SollA, where we never had troubles, at least very few. As a matter of fact, we've only had just one. Imagine just one little trouble, my son. And this little trouble, as you now will see, is the one little trouble. I have the key. There's only one door in SollA Sollew, and we only have a key slap, and we also have a key slapping slipper. We do. This troublesome slipper moved into my door 2 weeks ago, Tuesday, at 3:45. Since then, we can't open the door no more, and we can't kill the slipper. It's bad, very bad luck to kill any slipper, and that's why we're stuck. And why no one gets into the town? It's gone to pot. It's a terrible state of affairs, is it not? And so I said to the doorman of SollA Sollew, my job at this store here is finished. I'm through. And I'll tell you what I've decided to do. I'm leaving, he said, leaving SollA Sollew on the banks of the beautiful river, woohoo, where you never have troubles, at least very few. I'm off to the city of Baloo, on the banks of that beautiful river, wahoo, where they never had troubles, no troubles at all. Come along with me, he said as he ran, and you'll never have any more troubles, young man. If I had no more troubles, that's what the man said, so I started to go, but then I realized instead, I did some quick thinking inside of my head. And I started back home to the Valley of Lung. I know I've had troubles, but maybe get stung. And I'll maybe get stung. I also have troubles and maybe get bit by a green-headed quail on the place where I sit. But I bought a big bat, and now I'm ready to see. Now all my troubles are going to have troubles with me. So he's just going to beat his troubles now.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So that was, I've had trouble getting to SollA Sollew. I've been Denman. Like, comment, subscribe to the Denman Army. Peace out. Have a good rest of your day.